Which duty general is better for your holy palace? That's what we're going to look at here. Hi, and welcome to Red Evony. I am Akayasha. You can call me Aka. So, we have Helena and we have Trivia Hecate. Two duty generals battling it out for the holy palace. Now, you can call this battle whatever you want to call it. You can call it the light versus the darkness, okay? Yin versus yang, church girl versus bad bitch. Whatever you want to call it, I'm sure all of us watching this are wondering which duty general is better to use. Some of you might even already have trivia leveled up and you're wondering whether you should switch over to Helena. So what we're going to do here is we're going to look at these two generals, compare them, and I'll give you my opinion on which one is better to use and in what situation, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so if we're good to go, let's mosey on down to the spreadsheet and take a look at these two generals. Okay guys, want to put a quick word in for the Amazon App Store. Now, some of you might know this, but for anyone that doesn't, the App Store is officially ending all third-party services by the 20th of August this year. So, if you have Amazon coins that you have already paid for towards Evony, you need to use those before the 20th of August. Now, if you're someone that uses an Amazon device, don't worry, you will still have access to the App Store and its main features, so you can continue to do your thing on there. Aside from that, of course, there are going to be lots of Evony events running. I'm going to stay on top of that, so you guys make sure you stay on top of it too. And there's going to be a new Evony Discord opening up for us to stay connected. Link to the Discord is down in the description. That's it, guys. Remember the D-date, 20th of August. Okay. So, we've got both Helena and Trivia stats up here, okay? And we look at them real quick. So, for Helena, right, this is what she's got for ranged, okay? Attack, defense, and HP, and she's got that for siege. Now, in her case, you can see that these are highlighted in blue, and that's to indicate that these values apply not just in city, but also in other situations as well, attacking, defending, that kind of thing. All right. Now, for Trivia, she has ranged, attack, and defense, okay, 25%. Same thing for siege. And these are not colored because these are just in-city stats, okay? Then, in addition, Helena has got 20% healing speed, while Trivia has got 10%, okay? Now, this is for their main skill, okay? The main skill alone. Now, based on this, if you are looking at the generals and you are wondering which one should I get, if you're just basing it on the main skill alone, Helena is looking a bit better in my opinion, okay? Like I said, these stats apply in other situations, not just in city. She's got the HP as well. And, you know, yeah, I think it's from the main skill alone, she's looking pretty okay. So if you were just in the situation where you were able to just get your hands on the general and you weren't planning on doing any ascension or anything like that, you just wanted to stick them into your holy palace, then I think Helena would be the better option here. But of course, we know that people want to level up these generals, do ascension, specialties, and all this kind of stuff. So, the next parts of this review, we're going to be breaking it down in various stages. So, we're going to look at the generals with specialties and with various levels of ascension. Okay, so if we move on to the next sheet, right, this is the general's main skills plus specialties. Now, if we look at Helena here, she's got some added stats for ground and mounted. And you notice that the range stats and the siege stats for the attack has increased a bit by 8%. Okay. The defense and the HP, they remain the same. All right. That's cool. Now, if we look at Trivia, right, Trivia stats have increased quite a bit. But it's still the same thing for in-city stats for range and siege. Now, if you're comparing them, Trivia is certainly looking better on the range and siege stats. But like I said, This is purely in city. Okay, so if you are, let's say, a big keep that is siege based, at this point in time, with just the main skills and the specialties, trivia is looking, yeah, kind of better in my opinion. But again, this is if you're purely focused on your defensive buffs. All right. Then again, okay, healing speed remains the same. Nothing changed there. They get added deserter capacity, which, you know, for defense is kind of helpful. Helena gets 20%, Trivia gets 25%. Okay. In addition, Helena also gets attacking stats. Then she gets range and siege attack plus 15%. Okay. Trivia doesn't have those attacking stats, so that's okay. Now for debuffs, okay, Helena gets 8% debuffs for all troop. That's HP, all right? And in addition, she gets ground and mounted attack debuff 15%. In comparison to that, Trivia gets defense debuff for range and siege 10% and attack debuff for range and siege 25%. So what we have here is Trivia is looking more focused at defending for range and siege, while Helena is looking a bit more all round. Think of it like this, okay? Helena for all round buffs, Trivia for focus, range, and siege buffs. Now I'm highlighting this here because this is a pattern that we're going to see as we're moving forward, okay? So what we've looked at here is main skill plus specialty. Now, what we have here is main skill plus specialty plus 1 ascension. Now, we look at Helena here. Okay, her stats have gone up. All right, that's fine. Attack has increased a bit for the other troops. Range and siege attack has gone up a bit. Defense has gone up a bit. HP still the same. Okay, that's fine. We look at Trivia. Yes, there is a considerable increase in the stats. Again, the same thing, range and siege. All the other stats remain the same. So this is the main change that you're going to have when you ascend her to 1 star. And again, you see Trivia is more focused for defending with range and siege, while Helena is a bit more all round. Okay, now let's move on and look at what the stats are like when we go to the 2nd ascension. Okay, so this is stats for the 2nd ascension that we have right here, right? Now, you'll notice that Helena's stats haven't really changed, okay? No real change there. Whereas, for Trivia, she has gained some HP stats. And in addition to that, Trivia also gets increased deserter capacity, okay? While, on the flip side, Helena here doesn't get increased deserter capacity, but she gets increased healing speed. Okay, she gets that. Plus, she also gets additional ground and mounted defense and HP debuff of 15%. Okay, so that's the real change that you have there when you take them to the 2nd ascension. Again, that pattern that we talked about earlier is still playing out here. Helena getting some more all-rounded buffs, while Trivia is getting more focused buffs. Okay, so let's move to the 3rd ascension. Okay, so we have the stats here for their 3rd ascension. Okay, and as you notice here, the stats for Helena haven't really changed. Okay, they haven't really changed. For Trivia, on the other hand, she's gotten increased range and siege HP stats here for the in-city. Okay, so that's the main thing that you have there for that, and she gets some increased healing speed as well. That's it for the 3rd ascension. But if we come back to Helena right here, you notice that she now has in rally range stats. Okay, so this is in rally ranged attack 15%, defense and HP 20%. That's what she gets for the 3rd ascension. So the defensive stats don't really change, but then she's including these in rally stats. Again, we're seeing the pattern where Helena is giving buffs kind of for your all-round game, okay, while Trivia is focusing on defensive buffs, particularly for ranged and siege. All right, that pattern is still continuing here. Now, at this point, okay, in my opinion, by the time you have gotten the duty general to 3 stars, keep in mind that both of these are premium generals. So you are most likely paying money to get them to this point. And in my opinion, by the time you've gotten to round about 3 ascensions, I think most people are pretty much committed at this point. So unless there is a big cataclysmic change in what is going on, I think the majority of people will carry these duty generals to the end. So with that in mind, I'm going to skip the stats for the 4th ascension, and I'm going to go straight and look at their stats when they are fully ascended. So right here, we have the stats for their full ascension. Okay, that's including the stats for the 4th ascension and the 5th ascension. Now, we look at the stats for Helena here. Again, they've not really changed. Okay, so the defensive stats and things like that we have here have not really changed for Helena. For Trivia, on the other hand, you notice the increase in the attack stats for range and siege and in the defense stats. Plus, you notice that now these 2 stats are colored in blue. And that is because the stats you get in her final ascension are universal stats. So in the stats in that last ascension will apply both on defense and in other situations. So that's why she now has the blue there. The HP are still just in-city stats. Okay. In addition to that, you notice that Trivia now has increased debuffs. Okay, so for range and siege defense, she's got an added 20%. And for range and siege attack, she's got an added 15%. Okay, that's including the buffs that she comes up with there. Helena, on the other hand, comes in with a wide variety of stuff. Okay, so what you get for Helena, you get range and siege attack 15%. Okay, you get ground and range attack 15%, and then you get ground and mounted attack 15% and defense 15%. So these are all attacking stats. Then in addition to that, you also get an additional attacking ground and mounted attack debuff of 45%. Okay, this debuff is when you are attacking, so it's debuffing the enemy's defending troops. That's the only situation that it applies in. The other 15% that you get here applies in all situations, but this one is purely attacking. Then you also have the ground and mounted defense and HP debuff 15% here. We have the in rally that we talked about here. Plus, Helena gets rally cap of 6% in her final ascension. Okay, so you see what I mean when I was talking about she gets a wide variety of stuff. All right, so those are the full stats of the generals that we're looking at here. Now, what are my conclusions? First one is that when you're looking at all-round buffs and all the stuff that you get, Helena is the better duty general. You will get more stuff for your attacking and your defending, including debuffs with Helena. Plus, if you are interested in it, let's say you're setting rallies and things like that, you also get the added 6% rally cap with Helena. So if that's the kind of stuff that you're looking for, then Helena might be the general for you to go with. However, if you are focused purely on improving your defense and you are a big keep and you prioritize defense with siege and range significantly a lot, then Trivia is looking better for you than Helena. Trivia has more focused stats for range and siege defense, the buffs that you get, plus she has got more focused debuffs for range and siege. Helena's debuffs are primarily ground and mounted, which, depending on the size and what you want, that might be okay. But if you're looking for range and particularly siege debuffs, then Trivia is the better one for you to go with. So it's kind of like, what flavor of ice cream do you prefer? For all-round buffs, Helena is the option, but for specialized siege and range defensive buffs and debuffs, Trivia is the one for you to go for. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments. So guys, based on all of that, I think you have enough information to decide which of these duty generals is better for you to use and which one best matches your priorities and the style of play that you're doing right now. So that comparison was for these two generals. But you might be wondering, what about the other duty generals? Okay, some buildings have more than one duty general, tavern and premium generals. So which one should I use? If you're wondering that, don't worry, I've got you covered. I have this video over here where I compared tavern generals versus duty generals for a certain level of ascension. So if you'd be interested in that to see which duty generals you should work with, then you can check out that video if you haven't seen it. That's it for me, guys. Thank you very much. Aka signing out.